What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Toby. I do random things. Today is something exciting. Now, before you watch this video, I highly recommend you check out my video, Walking Around in the Woods for No Reason, as it'll give some context. I'll link it below. But for those of you who haven't seen it, basically, I was walking around the woods, and I found this weird-looking book in the woods. And after looking through it, I've decided I want to make some content about this book. So I'm going to start an 8-part series. So there will be this video, which is part 1, and then there'll be 7 other parts. Because this book has a lot of stuff in it, and I wanted to share it with y'all. So, without further ado, let's begin. And I will be showing you each page, so get ready for that. June 18th, so this was written a while ago. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since I began researching the strange and wondrous secrets of Gravity Falls, Oregon. Oregon? Well, I'm recording this in Florida, so I don't know how this book got from Oregon to Florida, literally the other side of the country. But, hey, we'll find out, I guess. In all my travels, never have I observed so many curious things. Gravity Falls is indeed a geographical oddity. But the strangest thing about this town is the question, why? Why is it that this one remote location houses more paranormal, ultra-average, and super usual phenomena than any other location on Earth? There must be a hidden law of nature, a grand unified theory of weirdness. I've heard of that. Now, if you've watched my short, you'll know that I work for Irvin Core Labs. But Irvin Core Labs has been researching the grand unified theory of weirdness. So this book is going to prove very useful to our research. There must be a hidden law of nature, a grand unified theory of weirdness, which explains how everything in Gravity Falls is connected. My benefactors trust that I will use their grant money to discover something incredible, and I believe this theory could be it. My continuing mission is to investigate the oddities of Gravity Falls, discover the grand unified theory of weirdness, publish my theory, and join the ranks of Newton, Tesla, and Einstein in the pantheon of science. Some of my recent investigations include these. Floating eyeballs! Were they ever a part of some more complete magical creature, or have they always been disembodied eyes? Either way, they are extremely unsettling. They'll just hover, staring you down. Are they watching me? Yes. What else would floating eyeballs be doing? Giant vampire bats! The summer heat seems to draw them from their caves. The locals pretend it's mosquito season, but then why not use bug spray instead of garlic necklaces? Who do they think they're fooling? The bats will settle for cows or sheep, but would much rather feed off some feeble human. Human blood tastes... Oh, we edited it. I can only assume human blood tastes better, because I have not sampled human blood. Nice save there, author. Gnomes! I encountered my first gnome when I awoke one morning and found it arguing politics with the stuffed bear head above my fireplace. Another gnome stole my glasses and ate 2 of my cassette tapes. No one uses cassette tapes anymore. I knew this book was old, but this book must be really old. They have shown themselves capable of an alarming ability to stack their little bodies into giant formations, so keeping my snacks on higher shelves has done nothing to stop their persistent nibbling. Darn. Common height is 10 to 18 inches. So we know this book, well, we already knew this book was written in America, but now we know the author is American. This includes the hat. They refuse to remove their hats. Do they have pointy heads? Several tried to kidnap me as an offering to their queen as I was sleeping, but I just drop-kicked them out the window when I awoke. Unsettling. I saw one taking a squirrel bath. I wish I could unsee this. Cursed doors! Never would I have believed that a simple doorway could spell your doom, but I have seen several tourists go through ordinary-looking doors and simply disappear into thin air, never to be seen again. This phenomenon is unexplained. Any door with the number 13 on it appears to be a portal to a different plane of existence, or instant death. Haven't had the nerve to test it. Cursed doors are a common component of life in Gravity Falls. The locals know which doors to avoid. Visitors are left to fend for themselves. The Tourist Bureau should really publish some sort of pamphlet. Note to self, write a letter to the Tourist Bureau. Myself. As I've been cataloging these oddities, it has occurred to me that I have yet to turn the microscope on the oddity with which I am most intimately familiar, myself. If I succeed in publishing my theory, I am bound to become something of a public figure, so for the sake of historical record, I should perhaps touch on the subject, who am I? To put it simply, I am strange. I was born strange. I am attracted to the strange, and the strange has always been attracted to me. Where I grew up, we were encouraged to follow rules and fit the mold. I recall finding a shrunken head in the family pawn shop and bringing it to show and tell. Every other student brought a football trophy, or a book about football. All of these objects were thrown at me as I gave my report. If my brother hadn't shielded me and punched one of the other kids in the nose, I might have spent the rest of the year in the hospital. When I was growing up, nothing I ever did was right. My grades were too high, and my social skills were too low. Worst of all, I was born with a rare birth defect, 6 fingers on each hand. Although my family tried to convince me that this made me special, and it did help with shadow puppets, I was mocked by classmates and shunned by girls. I would hide in the library, poring over books about the supernatural and searching for other freaks of the world like me. I still recall reading about the Bermuda Triangle as a child. The thought of a place where you could just disappear into the unknown fascinated me. Perhaps it was luck, perhaps destiny, but I've discovered my own Bermuda Triangle, Gravity Falls, the place where I fit in. It is here that I will find my grand theory and maybe find myself in the process. Very nice. My muse. One more thing about me. I have a secret. Although I have relied my entire life on my intuition and intelligence to provide me with answers, 2 years ago I experienced a miracle while napping in the forest, and that has forever changed the way I think about the world and my place in it. I was contacted by a muse. I know it sounds crazy, but a strange being from a higher plane took sympathy with my search for knowledge and amazingly chose me to be a receptacle for divine and otherworldly insight. As preposterous as it sounds, this being has provided me again and again with eerily accurate tips and predictions that have aided me in my studies. Is this being a spirit, an alien, a dream, or merely part of my overactive imagination? Ultimately, interpretation is irrelevant. He is a fickle being who is unpredictable and only shows up when I least expect it. But I am always eager and ready for the next time he wishes to bestow his rare insights upon me. Note to self. Must keep this a complete secret. If anyone finds out about this, they will surely think I am insane and my grant money may be revoked. It is best to leave this part of my research to the shadows. Now, back to my investigations. Note, burn this page after research is complete. Well, I guess he never completed his research because we're reading this book. Mothman. This urban legend of the Pacific Northwest is more than a myth. It has been drawn to the bug zapper in my backyard multiple times. Making high clicking sounds and feeding on stray dogs and hobos, this 10-foot humanoid is terrifying but easily gets trapped behind screen doors. Do not touch. Devolves into 100 fluttering moths on contact. Believed to start out as a caterpillar man, but this has never been observed yet. Beard cubs. These living, ambulatory beards, some with mustaches, roam the forest in packs and will steal the aftershave out of your camping gear. They nest in trees, bushes, and on lumberjacks' faces. One tried to attack me once, and I barely escaped clean-shaven. Always carry a pocket razor. Portal potty. A mysterious system of space-warping outhouses seems to be strategically spreading throughout the town's forests. I was able to successfully use one to transport myself, but wound up in the middle of a desert and had to hitchhike home. No idea who created them, but I'm never going in again. Sometimes it's just best to hold it. Scampfire. These spider-like beasts pose as campfires, then spring to life when you get too close. They like to eat campers, marshmallows, and beans, but will feed on pretty much anything combustible. Can be doused with water, but will hiss. Kill Billy. Feral, fanged, glowing-eyed hillmen will suck your blood and steal your overalls. They may be the beings responsible for the cursed outhouses. Communicate through grunts and hand boning. When you hear bluegrass music, head for the nearest convenience store. They can't get in. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Soothskeetos. Their bites spell out dire messages for your future, except they're frequently misspelled. I was told to botch out for Will, which, as far as I could tell, is total nonsense. Steve. Never actually seen its face. Covered in moss and mushrooms, hides in the forest, big enough to pick up my car and eat it, which it did years ago. My theory is that this is some species of tree giant, older than the town itself. Its legs look remarkably like trees, and considering how many lumberjacks are nearby, that probably explains why it's such a recluse. I tried to communicate with it by speaking in low tones through a megaphone, but it threw a deer at me, so I decided to leave it alone. I call it Steve because it really acts like a Steve. The Invisible Wizard. Don't believe your eyes? Good, you don't have to. This bizarre sorcerer is completely impossible to see with the naked eye. However, with night vision goggles, I was able to get a brief glance of him trying on my suits in my closet. He later turned my goggles into a bat. The Abominable Bro Man. What I would have given to find an actual Yeti or Bigfoot. Instead, the only cryptid I've discovered in local peaks is the obnoxious soda-swilling ape beast who can only say, "Bro, righteous," and "Chill, dude." I assume he ate a hiker and stole his frayed baseball cap and cargo shorts, and has since started emulating him. Barf fairies. Unfortunately, exactly what they sound like. Had to wear a poncho to study these in the wild. It's possible their vomiting is a form of communication, but I didn't stick around long enough to find out. Whatever it is they're eating, I need to watch out for it. Leprechaun. Oh, hold on, my camera's being weird. Focus. Okay, we're good. Leprechaun, a disappointment to unicorn enthusiasts and leprechaun hunters alike. These giggling freaks of nature are found near rainbows and boxes of sugary cereal with colorful marshmallow shapes. I was searching in a nearby field for four-leaf clovers to use in a luck experiment when I encountered the specimen. He said, "Top of the morning to ya," and then proceeded to chew on my sideburns. I picked him up by the horn and threw him as far as I could, but he just tottered right back. Gold coins fell out of his beard. I pocketed a few, but later discovered they were plastic. Everything about this creature is frustrating. I shudder to think how such a horrific being came into this world. Although, for the record, I will state that actual unicorns are just as annoying. The stomach-faced duck. Some creatures in Gravity Falls inspire awe. Others inspire ah! I was immediately disturbed when I witnessed a flock of these malformed mallards swimming together in the center of a lake. I purchased a duck whistle at the bait shop to see if one would return my call. Indeed he did, but when his mouth opened I could see his intestines and other vital organs. It was horrifying, though anatomically quite fascinating. I quickly lost my appetite and turned over my crackers and sandwich to the birds, who were happy to finish them off. One might make a good pet, that is, if you could get over the whole visible intestines thing. Question quail. Owls say who. These birds say where, why, and when. Known by their black question markings. Perhaps cousins of the apostrophe and exclamation parakeet. Cowl. Part cow, part owl. Lays milk-filled eggs, calls moo. Even more of a paradox than its cousin, the parrot ox. Hoctopus, too stupid to study. Well, woodpecker pecker. A miniature woodpecker that gets its meals by pecking bugs out of the back feathers of a regular woodpecker. May have a woodpecker pecker on its back. Need microscope to investigate. The bottomless pit. I want to get to the bottom of this mystery, but it seems impossible. The Mobius pit seems to somehow impossibly loop back on itself. Many things that are tossed in eventually get tossed right back out, but some things never return. It is nearly impossible to predict what will return and what won't. There are no discernible patterns in terms of time of day or weather conditions. Of course, socks never come back. Junk mail almost always does. Ironically, nothing ever seems to get lost on Friday the 13th. The speed at which things return also varies, but experimentation has taught me that if something does not return within 24 hours, it never comes back. One day, I might have the courage to leap in out of curiosity. Although I might find myself on a plane of existence I am not ready to handle, or just waste 20 minutes telling stories to myself to keep entertained. A bit of history. Weeks have passed, and I'm still no closer to discovering the grand theory of weirdness. Whenever I feel as though I've hit a roadblock, I like to read up on Gravity Falls past in the public library. This town's history may hold clues to the source of its weirdness. So here is the assembled history of Gravity Falls. 65 million years ago, dinosaurs ruled, until they didn't. 30 million. CSO, original impact. Valley formed. Tree ring interruption, radiations test confirmed. Tell no one about this. AD 1000. Native people mysteriously evacuate town in a hurry. Describe Gravity Falls as a cursed land. Leave behind treasure trove of pottery, blankets, and symbols. Some art depicts my muse and his interaction with a shaman named Modoc. Art hoarded by the Northwests. 1842. Town is founded by Nathaniel Northwest. 1849. Gold Rush. 1850. Lesser known, Flannel Rush. 1851. Mining ceases after miners claim sightings of prehistoric beasts I need to investigate. 1860s. High five supposedly invented by Oregon Trail settlers Grady and Fertilia Meese. Fertilia sets record of 42 children. 1883. Great train crash of 83. Conductor distracted by flash of light and careens off a cliff. 1920. Maple syrup prohibition leads to secret pancake speakeasies. 1937. Plane crash in mountains. Woman escapes into forest. Amelia was here, carved in mountainside. 1947. UFO sighted, headed east. Ronald Sprott Sr. seems to shoot it with a shotgun. 1960. Greasy's Diner salvages crashed train parts for restaurant. 1975. My arrival in Gravity Falls. So now we know when he came here. 1975. That's almost 50 years ago. 1981, discovery of Muse. Odd. While researching history in the library archives, I found an unnoticed rusty ancient box with the word Pines scrawled on it and an etching of a key. Curious, I broke it open and found this. I cannot understand the code, so the meaning is lost on me. One day I may decipher it. Let me show you the code. In researching the town lore, I have found quite a few bizarre laws and customs passed down from the founders' days. For example, an old law forbids a horse from holding office until it is of legal age. There are also 46 different laws involving when, where, and how to properly count a woodpecker for marriage. Most of these absurd laws are attributed to town founder General Nathaniel Northwest, a man whose only battle skills appear to have been wearing a jacket with fringes and posing for whatever that word is. I can't read that. Due to this legend, Nathaniel's descendants, including current patriarch Alderman Northwest, have enormous power in this town, owning everything from Northwest Realty to Northwest Mudflaps to Northwest weather vanes. The weather vanes often seem to unfairly favor the directions north and west. It would seem their power is unquestionable. However, a new piece of evidence throws the whole history of the Northwest family into an entirely different light. In my investigations, I recently made a discovery. Nathaniel Northwest may not be the founder of Gravity Falls. In fact, his entire family legacy is a fraud. I believe the proof of this is buried somewhere in the enclosed document. If only I could crack the code. And that, my friends, is where we're going to be done for the night. I really wanted to do more, but I think that's a good place to stop. So we will stop there, And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. And anyway, like I said, check out the original video, the Walking Around in the Woods video in the description, and keep an eye out for part 2. And I'll see you next time. Bye.